Yo, guys, Milae here. Welcome to another Civilization Vox Populi podcast. I am joined once again by the wonderful Hanoi.
Yeah, hi guys, how you doing?
Oh man. Yeah, lots to talk about today. I guess we shall start off with the old Civ Fanatics forum. Always a lot of stuff being chatted about on there. And there has been a new patch as well, so we'll go through, what went on there and what we think about that as well.
Yeah, quite a lot of changes.
Yeah. Um, I mean, a lot of this stuff is like just AI stuff, like I guess fixes or whatever, trying to make them a bit smarter. Lots of
Yeah,
stuff from
and
recursive. Yeah.
um, it has all the things that you did for the World Congress. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. Do you know what?
So
Nobody has said
it's still
anything
like
about
a
that yet.
yeah, so it's still like in a rough position. Like, has been some fixes, but we still don't know like majority feedback. So
Yeah, like I mean, there's been some fixes to the overall patch. I think, well, my stuff because I already tested it and there was a lot
hmm.
of bugs in it already, and I think they're pretty much gone. But no one's complained about it, so I'm considering that a pretty big success, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of AI stuff, and then so the balance changes.
Like I can't say any like I could say something, but most of the stuff will be irrelevant about the World Congress changes because I just can't get to the moment in a game actually where I can use it because I suck right now at civilization. So,
Really?
yeah. Yeah, but we will discuss that more in a second part. So let's go back to the
Yeah. Cool.
changes.
So
Yeah.
solar plant plus 5%. Yeah, whatever. Police station, a bit of happiness change. This America change seems a little bit interesting. Uh, you get less of a
Mm.
discount, but it gets reset every time you settle a city. I haven't tested
Yeah,
it, but
so
I imagine it's a bit better than before. I mean,
Mm, I think it still sucks to be honest, because
really?
like America um is not a very like good city in any way, I would say. Um,
Really?
yeah, I think like because you have a like 25 plot cost modifier, so you basically pay only 25% less gold for
Yeah.
buying tiles, and this is like half of your unique ability because the other one is I think +1 side on land units.
Well,
Um,
yeah, but you get the production, don't you? I mean, that's really the main thing.
oh yeah, the production that is I think 20 scaling with era,
Okay.
which is like beyond your first city. I am pretty sure it is already less efficient to buy a tile than to invest in a building. And America has
No.
no like gold source to its like uniques. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really like strange civ because before it was like I think tall one through the unique building, unique one, national wonder.
Right.
It didn't had like many synergies with wide or like authority. Like
Yeah.
it had one synergy like with complete authority, which was a range unit without movement penalties. But it was
Right.
so late, um, and it was giving like you. It still gives you like golden points on kill,
Yep.
which is kind of counterintuitive in my opinion because you usually like to advance and kill with your melee units, not with like your ranged units. Ranged units like serve to inflict damage, and then you kill and advance with a melee to like advance your line and to get a heal on kill. So
yeah, and I mean Golden Age points are just not that great, are they? And like compared to probably a great artist or something, I doubt it's anything like as much.
Yeah, and it's really like late unit. Like it shares some similarities with like France or some kind of like that, because they don't have like early game bonuses, and they can be powerful later in the game, but you have to like still be relevant in the game, which is kind of hard, I think, with America. And another thing is that UA now resets plot cost modifier scalar every time you settle a city, which was already pointed out that it is not really good design, because you usually settle a lot of cities early in a quite fast manner. So you are not able like to properly capitalize on this reset, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds decent to me that it would keep the cost down for longer, because I imagine it racks up. But yeah, it's not. America isn't a Civ that I played that much of before, and I haven't played it since the change, so I can't say for sure. I guess it won't be as good early on, because I know people used to use it as like a good way of guaranteeing like Stonehenge or whatever. Yeah, but maybe you can't quite do that anymore.
Well, you can technically like get this bonus production to settlers and to things that you like don't normally can invest in, but still 20 production until medieval is really it's really I think bad and weak, especially because like you have to pay a lot of gold, and right now it is like 25%, not 50%.
Yeah.
So like getting wonders could be really like early wonders, like double, like Stonehenge and the pyramids, like people used to do, will be in fact harder until you will like connect your first luxury and sell it, because you will not have that much gold.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is actually before the new patch, so it's 35.
Will be more expensive.
So maybe you are right actually about the investing in buildings. Fair enough.
That stat you rolled was actually beneficial to America, like this double wonder strategy, because mining luxuries are easy to extract quickly by going mining first. So you can get gold from selling to other AIs, and you're it's really heavy RNG, because like America with two high roll gold goody huts. I don't remember how. Ancient ruins, ancient ruins are called. It's really much better than America without them, or without ancient ruins altogether, I think.
Yeah.
This plus one side also is I think good. Spotting ruins.
True. All right, other stuff. Brazil. Bandia, whatever. Some random stuff. Yeah, all of these tourism changes. So a lot more tourism and early buildings, particularly the arena one. Although I guess it was 2 anyway, wasn't it? And now it's 1 per 3 pops. So I guess somewhat similar. Extra from museum, extra from broadcast tower, extra from garden, extra from opera house, though this may have got removed, and more from stadium. I don't know if zoos still get the tourism as well.
And I think they brought back the 5-person culture on opera house.
Right.
Because there was kind of backlash against that.
Yeah, and then the other, I don't know where, like the main change to tourism was not really this stuff. It was that, so removed city-based tourism scaler for empire size.
So it was, I think, -7%, if I remember correctly, for any non-puppeted city.
So this is how it used to be, you're saying, or?
Yeah, this is how it used to be.
It used to be, it was whatever the cost increased for techs was. So like if you had a 5% increase in tech cost per city, it would be a -5% tourism.
Oh.
But the way that it worked was quite weird, I think, because say if you had like 10 cities, you'd have -50%. But so you're getting half tourism. But if you then have 15 cities, you're getting -75%, which is a quarter tourism. So those extra 5 cities have just halved your tourism again.
Yeah, and it was like the tourism was scaling in a way that people were reporting that if you have like 40 cities through, and I think we both like experienced in our games that tourism was actually one of the easiest. I think like one of the most available victory conditions, because doing a lot of conquests usually brings a lot of culture and tourism.
Right.
At some point. So it was kind of like you were getting all this tourism in like you were doing something else and you would still get this tourism, so you wouldn't even have to like focus on it. So I think it was removed because of that, like because of the wide empires where warmongering was very beneficial to tourism. So this is how it used to be. So
no, this should be how it is now, actually. But I guess the UI just hasn't been updated. But this is what it used to be. Every non-puppet city decrease your tourism by 5%, and it was just capping out at 75%. So once you had more than 15 cities, you weren't getting any more of a penalty.
Exactly.
But it was weird.
It was.
And the way it works now is you'll get like a percent modifier here, and it will be -5% for each city you have more than they have.
Yeah, so basically it is much smaller of a modifier, I would say.
Yeah, because normally as well you'll have quite a few like plus modifiers here that will cancel it out. So when you have trade routes and stuff, that will be +10 or more, or shared religion. So then if you have like -20%, it might even just stay at 0.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. It is like it is similar to combat strength in late game, like -5 or -15 that way or this way. It doesn't really matter, calculation. So this is weird, and I don't know what was like the main reason was probably to allow tourism victory to be still like a more tall of a play, I think.
Right.
So but I don't know if I like it, to be honest. It's like very I think it will be less intuitive than the old system.
Really? No, I think this will be better, because the old system was weird, man, because it would like apply to each of your cities individually, this -75. But like and like we said, with the fact that it caps out at 15 and then it just didn't matter anymore after that. But it scaled really weirdly before then.
Yeah, but like right now, will it make any difference? Still, if you will have like before, we have a problem when you have a 30 or 40 empire cities empire. So you're getting all the tourism without any cap because it was capped at 15 cities. So right now you will get so much tourism through all the cities, and the modifier would still be not that meaningful. So I think white tourism will still be like white tourism with conquest, with all the wonders you will conquer and so on, would still be viable. So
it depends if it's still capped, yeah. Like if it still caps at 15 extra cities or not. But like it will definitely take you a lot longer to get there because you're probably going to be having your tourism is going to be on somebody with 10 cities, so you'd need like 25 cities or more to reach a cap if there is one. It's gonna make tourism generally easier for wider civs. Like it's still going to be better to be tall.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I don't think it's. I mean, there are a lot of problems with tourism. Like, I don't think it addresses the fact that the cultural victory is still the easiest, or it's still a byproduct of going for something else.
Yeah,
so if you are good at tradition, you will be good at culture, and you will be good at tourism anyway, even if you are going for science. If you are good at warmongering, you will sooner or later be good at a very high tourism output, which, like the system changes only how it's calculated, not like how what purposes it serves. So
yes, and I agree. Tourism already was too easy, and it's now been made even easier, which is not good. Like, and all the buildings got tourism buffs as well, so it feels like it's going to be pretty ridiculous, at least until it gets changed again or whatever. But like, I like the idea of the change because, as I said, I wasn't a big fan of how it worked before. I just agree that tourism is too easy, and I feel like my issue with tourism was more, it was more to do with the fact that tourism doesn't really do anything other than the tourism victory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I feel like is a bit weird. And it could easily be added into some other stuff. Like right now you get the trade route bonus for sending a trade route to civs who you have tourism with. Yeah. But it's not really significant.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Like going for science, you can basically stay kind of I would say elastic, like because science is needed for nearly everything. And going for warmongering also, you can just switch to diplomatic and switch to cultural at some point, or even science, like going for order in the end. But like with tourism, you doesn't get anything, or like the eyes that are snowballers in tourism, they are not as scary as like in a science, I think.
Right.
Because they will not gain any other, like they will not get better units or buildings or something like that, like they would get with science, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree that tourism is kind of weird.
And if anything, it makes the game harder for you if you have good tourism, because everybody starts hating you. I feel like quite a lot. And then like, which is also weird because tourism kind of means they like you, or their people do at least.
Yeah, it's like cultural influence, and if somebody like achieves cultural influence, that means like he's kind of dependent on the guy that is out-culturing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, but I don't think they have like good ideas about how to address that.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard, because we would have to, like, we are right now like redeveloping espionage, So we
Yeah.
would have to like redevelop tourism from the scratch, which is another big issue. So
Well, I always suggested you could add it in as like a combat strength thing or like a war weariness thing. Like combat strength penalty if you're fighting somebody who is influential with you or something like that, because your people don't really want to fight them.
that makes a lot of sense, to be honest. Did you ever like put it in on the forums?
Yes, I believe I've probably put it more than once, to be honest. And I
Yeah,
also
but
suggested it should affect happiness as well, but that was because I didn't really understand the happiness system. Like, I don't know how it actually could affect happiness with the system
okay,
how it
but
is.
was there any like discussion or feedback on this, or was it just unnoticed? Because that's the thing with the forums. Some good ideas like get completely abandoned.
Yeah, true. I don't know how things actually get chosen. I think you normally have to make a poll. That seems to be the best way if you want
Yeah,
something changed.
yeah, that's the best way, and I think yeah. So if we are like touching the subject of how things are like chosen, there is the issue with desert terrain.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. I'll just quickly say that the musicians got changed as well. So instead of
Yeah.
giving you the flat tourism boost, they give you 100% tourism for the next, I think it's 10 plus however many great works of music you have turns with that civ, and then 50% with the other civs, which I personally also like because I thought musicians were pretty fucking crazy before. Like,
Yeah, we were.
so at least now they're a little bit more like kept in check by that. Although that probably is even makes tourism easier, maybe. So, well, no, because you can't have like loads of great musicians at once at the end to just like spam it out.
Yeah, and especially you will have like trouble with moving them around with the war declaration and so on. So
Yeah, that always pisses me off as well. I
yeah.
think now you still can't use them on people who you're at war with, but you can at least get the 50% by doing it in another civ.
Oh yeah, so you could basically, if you will go with two musicians to the other saves, it is like you would be with one to that save.
Oh, it doesn't stack, I think.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh.
Yeah, so you can only get like 50% with the other civs, and then
Okay, so does it
100%
mean
where you
like
actually use
you
it.
will have to wait with your musicians, otherwise they
Yeah,
would be burned for nothing?
yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean, that you wouldn't be able to stack it quite so well as you could before.
Mhm. That might be actually like it might prolong some of the cultural victories.
Yeah, I think it will. It's just that since tourism, there's a lot more tourism now.
Yeah.
I imagine they'll still be going much earlier, generally.
Right.
All right,
So what
desert stuff. You can chat about that if you want.
Uh, I don't really like know how to start because I don't know if there was any consensus on that. I think there was a one thread where it was proposed, and
Yes.
it wasn't even really like it was split half to half at least, and there was not so much of of like people answering to that thread anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know why this decision was made, and it basically screws up so many things um, that I think most of the people like they are already DLLs posted with this change reverted in a April beta thread. So It's like,
What? Oh, really?
yeah, I think the guys already reverted that.
I don't
would
think
not
they did
like
because I got the 416 and it was still changed in there.
No, I mean like it's not in a official way, but there is
Right.
a DLL posted by someone with that change reverted because people were asking for it.
Right.
So I think it's better to type desert than terrain.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah, this completely screws up like a city placement defense on the deserts. This completely screws up civilizations that have unique units with a double movement in the deserts. This completely screws up pathfinders with promotion like Trailblazer 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I generally think and it's also like terrible when it comes to realism.
Yeah. So I remember that the thread, from what I remember, it was people saying how they didn't like that when you're using a mounted ranged unit, you have this skirmisher doctrine promotion.
Yeah.
So minus 20% combat strength while in rough terrain, plus 40% combat strength while in open terrain.
Yeah, so it means basically defense only, because like the defense in melee.
No, it's attack strength as well.
It's attack strength as well. Or I didn't.
Yeah.
I never like calculated it myself.
Yeah, combat. Generally, if it says combat strength, it will apply to ranged as well.
Oh, so it means like even if you are attacked by ranged units, you will still get it, because like in the general way, I always thought it means only combat strength, which is used for ranged units only in defense when melee units attack them.
No, yeah, I think when combat strength will also apply to any ranged attacks.
Right. Oh, so.
So even ranged attacks that these units do will also be weaker if you're standing in rough terrain compared to if you're standing in open terrain.
Right. So does it mean like you attack a unit with a ranged unit, and it's like your ranged unit, like a mounted cavalry, is staying on a jungle, and the guy is staying on for example, I don't know, like a plain.
Yeah. You'll still have the penalty.
You still have penalty, but you will kind of like, is it their tile?
It's always the one you're standing in with this promotion.
You're standing. All right, so you will not get like plus 40 combat strength, even if you theoretically like attacking them. So you're going to their tile.
Like, yeah, no, it's just where you stand, I think. So yeah, people. The complaint was people saying this is quite weird when you're standing in desert because it doesn't feel like a rough terrain, and yet you get this negative rough terrain penalty. And to be honest, I personally agree with that because a lot of these units here is stuff like, Berber cavalry, like war chariots, like camel archers, and then you're saying all of these units get a combat penalty while they're standing in desert. Like, I do find that weird. But in changing that, they also changed the movement speed cost. So
there was like there were two types of arguments. Like they were split in, like, because some only wanted the movement. No, some only movement like a combat strength adjusted, and some also wanted the movement.
I don't think people did want the movement. I feel like nobody really, or not many at least, suggested the movement.
Yeah, it was really like minority, but like most of the people who were asking, it was only for the combat strength, and I think so definitely. So it was like it changed something that people were not asking for completely.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's like really, really weird one.
Yeah, so now all units can walk through desert at one movement cost.
Yeah, I think
Which,
it was like that in vanilla.
oh really?
Yeah, because it's like even on a map, it look because there are no features and there are like a jungle or hills. It
Yeah,
looks just the same as grassland or plains without any features. So
yeah,
it was kind of like thematically correct or aligned with how the terrain is presented in the game.
yeah,
Of course, it's completely not realistic, but I think they just didn't have the time, or they just didn't have the way to get a movement penalty while still applying in a combat as open terrain.
yeah,
So that's why they just put it completely as an open terrain.
yeah. Which
Yeah.
is weird. I don't know if it's going to get changed back. I feel like a lot of people were quite surprised by the change that ended
Yeah.
up being made.
Um, I don't know what are they thinking like the devs, but I think it should be reverted, even if that means like the combat strength will not be adjusted. It was not like combat was that hard in a jungle. I mean, in the desert, it was kind
Yeah,
of because there was very many oases, which are one movement cost,
right.
and
Floodplains.
and flat planes. Yeah, exactly. So usually it's not that game change like combat changing to war in a desert,
Yeah,
and it
but
really
it is interesting. It's like a bit different, like it should be. I feel like
yeah.
that you can't just run through it.
But like it screws like the movement screws so many things at once that
Yeah,
even if that means that or there is also a problem with the skirmisher doctrine. I think it is more of a problem with the skirmisher doctrine itself than with a desert.
yeah. I
Uh,
feel like a new thread gets made about this thing like every month. Someone complaining about it.
yeah, so
Like,
like I might add because we are already touching it that uh, Apple Dan is making his sub mod or mod as it is called usually in
yeah,
Fanatics for civilization tweaks, and it also touches upon some of units. It's
right.
modular, so you can like if you like some changes to civilizations and not to, for example, units, you can use only one or the other.
Yeah,
Uh, so it's completely alright if you don't like something. And uh, if I remember correctly, it gets rid of the skirmisher doctrine, and it also rebalances Mongolia a lot.
right.
So to be honest, he has like a very solid history of getting uh, his ideas implemented into the main Vox Populi.
Yeah,
uh, because there was like I think recently there was a Spain remake he made
yeah,
that
yeah.
got through. Right now there are some like arguments and so on, but I think that his America unique building replacement will get into the game also, which I
Right.
think will be very very good change. And there is also the anti-mounted line of units. I think he invented the formation promotion instead of
Oh,
the
really?
anti-mounted. Yeah, and it was, if I remember correctly, it was his sub mode until some point that so many people liked it that
Right.
it got implemented into VP. So before it was like all the spears were getting plus 50% combat strength against mounted units. The same one as Norwegian elephants the Saiyan now gets. And the formation was completely, I think, his idea.
Right.
Experience, yeah. And I remember, probably there was something else, but I don't remember right now. I think there was at least one other thing. He introduced the VP, and it was first a sub mod, and then
I
it
think
got.
some of the some more promotion stuff. He did the
Yeah.
Celts beliefs as well, I think, as they
Yeah,
are now.
yeah.
Celts pantheons.
So yeah, he rebalanced because there was a concern that Rhiannon is always the best, and so some people said like, so it's always OP, so we should nerf the cults, and someone sensible came in and said like cults pantheons are basically very unique abilities. So if the if you're always going for Rhiannon and it's not that good as a unique ability in itself, then it should be the other way. The other pantheons should get boosted. So yeah, the Celts are also his doing. So
yeah,
very
and
solid.
he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy who does the unique components things. If we didn't mention that.
Yeah, the third and fourth unique components. So
yeah.
Also, he has like smaller modes, like new beliefs, but they are kind of more. They are less popular, and also he introduced several custom ships.
Yes, I do want to try some of them out at some point. Shall I tell you one other thing that he did that you may not know?
Yeah.
It was him who did the God of Stars and Sky change.
Really?
About. Yeah.
The change for the snow, you mean?
Yes, so God of Stars and Sky is the pantheon that gives stuff on resources.
I
Tundra,
didn't know that.
And now it gives it on snow.
Okay, so I will have to like make my rant speech and send it to him.
Well,
yeah.
It was my idea. Like I said this like this was one of my first ever suggestions on the forum or maybe on GitHub or something. Like I said that it should do that, and also that you should get science from snow later on, and that like people kind of were like, yeah, sure, but it got ignored, and then he just randomly did it like this patch.
Yeah, so yeah, but I think you suggested it before you made your map very comfortable to snow settling. I think because otherwise, yeah, it would make no sense. Like right now, I think with that pantheon, snow may be completely different on communities or on like vanilla maps. Yeah. But on your map, it makes snow. I am pretty convinced that the second best terrain to start in, well, maybe not like to start in, but to expand if you have this pantheon.
Yeah.
Apart from Tundra, of course.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I gave a lot of resources on snow. I was mostly trying to give the later game ones because I thought it would be cool to have snow be used like later game. But yeah, this pantheon is just so amazing. Like, and I have a bit of an issue with the pantheons like this in general, just because when you have a resource, you're already pretty happy, and then you have this pantheon that just makes it like the best tile in the flipping game.
So
I find it a bit like unfair.
I would not say that Pantheon is amazing. I would say that Pantheon is pretty fucking OP. So it's kind of a difference. Like I think every time you will get it on a right map, or like you have just amazing clusters of snow and tundra resources. Like every tile in some areas is completely covered in resources.
Yeah.
So just it's just completely OP. Especially if you consider like Desert is also very good pantheon, but it's not at all OP. First of all, because you don't have culture or science in it.
Yeah.
Spirit of the Desert, which at the bottom. So it is not as it is completely like the oval level, and it's like perfect pantheon. It gives you a lot of faith. It gives you a lot of production of gold, which are all right, but usually it is not giving you what you want from your pantheon, like science and science or culture. So
Right.
it is very strong, but it is not in any manner OP,
Yeah.
and it
There's
doesn't make
usually a
you.
limited amount as well of desert. Like you'll run out at a certain point, whereas tundra you could probably go and settle more.
Yeah,
But,
there are usually much lot tundra because of the continents have more edges than the landmass in the middle. So yeah, I think this pantheon, along with God of Open Sky, is just OP, and
True.
I don't see any arguments that they could not be an OP. They could be alright. They are just straight OP, and especially in the player hands. Because
Well, you can argue this one is very map dependent. So obviously, my maps I probably put more made better for this.
And the second thing is they are completely much better in a human hands than in the AI hands, because usually the AIs are not going to capitalize on them. Like they will not go for a complete tundra city or half snow, half tundra cities, even if it has a lot of resources. We just don't do that until later in the game.
True.
So and the open sky is the same. Like AI, I think doesn't know how to prioritize tiles to get a ridiculous culture and faith and gold early game. It will work the best tiles instead of the tiles that may be not so good but give you more of your pantheon bonuses. So yeah, there are some problems with those two pantheons.
And they like picking Goddess of the Hunt as well instead of Stars in Sky usually, if they even are in Tundra, which just is not the way to go.
It's definitely not the way to go. It's an alright pantheon, but it is not the OP pantheon. So
yeah,
just a normal one.
Definitely. Yeah, most of the other small changes, towns are a little bit better, but probably still not great. I mean...
Well, I think Orthodoxy got nerfed, which is kind of a big one.
Do you know what? I was never that high on that anyway. Like, other people, I know, complain about it a lot. I think normally I'd take religion pretty seriously in a game, so I never just, like, allow spread to...
I will tell you why you never had a problem with Orthodoxy, because you always go orders. So it means like Orthodoxy or not, your religion will be pretty strong, just from faith generation from orders. And if you have a hero worship, it will be even double. So you don't even have to, like, you can completely lose your religion apart from your capital in industrial or in medieval or in Renaissance. You will have like no other followers in all over cities, and you can still recover and convert all the world if you just keep conquering. So so Orthodoxy was really was one of the like go-to beliefs.
Really?
Which, usually I think yes. Like if your strategy was based on a passive spread, of course. It was similar. Its position was similar to hero worship for warmongering civs. Yeah, or 2 pagodas even. Like it was really very, very. So sometimes it felt like it was very, very broken.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think I ever honestly used it. I would always just use missionaries or something instead. I'm guessing it's probably not good anymore.
Yeah, people were like, I think 1 or 2 guys were reporting that it's not good anymore.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, there's a couple more things we could mention on the forum, or do you want to just move on to the talking about the game?
Honestly, like the things that we can talk about on the forums are uh, kind of wide. I think. I think
Yeah,
we'll have a lot of time for them, like the gold stuff and this cultural analysis. It is really like we can start only one of them and we can talk for like 2 hours about each of them. So I think it's better to like leave them for another time.
cool. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll come back to the forum. Still a lot more on there to be talked about, but we want to have a
Yeah,
little
definitely.
discussion about, I think, progress mainly is kind of the general gist
Yeah,
of the discussion.
progress and maybe like more generally the early game or like the medieval and earlier stages of your mod
Okay.
because it's I think changes the it changes the meta
Yeah,
on
true.
vanilla looks popular significantly.
True, true. Like, would you say, do you find the early game easier with my mod?
Um, well, to some point, maybe like not easier. I would say like more natural.
Right,
Which means to a certain degree easier. Like uh, AIs are not ridiculous because like before the problem with like the whole point why the your mod difficulty mod uh, like was created in the first place was that the early game um, AIs were not strong. They were weak, but they were not strong. They were just ridiculous. They were doing, even if they were in a good position, they were doing things that theoretically enhanced their strength uh, or required like more text or more policies than you can have by that point. But
right,
they were not like adding any strength to their position or to their victory condition,
right,
uh, which like every time you play deity or immortal or any of the higher difficulties uh, on a basic on a basic difficulty vox populi which are based on certain bonuses to ais, it
yeah,
usually ends up in a like catch up game. Like you the more powerful they are, basically the more tax you can steal from them and faster, the more like bonuses you can amass against them, the more wonders and citizens and better cities you will be gaining in the process of conquering them.
right,
So and especially like I had one game, I think with Rome, when I was not in so good position because I was warmongering constantly.
yeah,
And I was doing pretty all right, but all right in deity in like medieval Renaissance industrial is like the middle or the closer to the bottom than to the top. Uh, until you will get amass a lot of wonders and stuff for conquering. And the thing that like really made my game was passing of I think it is called investments in a culture, something like that. Investments in the art, endorsement to the arts, something like that.
endowment.
Endowment, yeah. So it basically meant that I got 30% production and culture boost in all of my cities,
Yeah.
which is fucking crazy. Because it makes, like, even if you have some snowballers that add up to the bonuses you will be getting, they can't use them as efficiently to win, to
Right.
strengthen their position. And with 30% production and culture for all of your cities
Yeah.
in the mid game, you are like in a very good position to do anything you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much AIs are almost never actually strong late game in normal VP. Like, even if they have every possible bonus, they still fall off just because they don't understand, like, great people, and they haven't necessarily put themselves in, like, a perfect position to actually win the game.
They just use their strength to, like, random things many times, like they are getting wonders, which are not particular help for them to win or something like that. They just don't understand how to prioritize things.
Yeah, and the yield bonuses have fallen off quite a lot at that point, to the point where, like, the culture and science bonuses that they're getting aren't really getting
They're
them new
meaningful,
techs
yeah.
or policies. So, like, there's always a point where you just catch up, and they'll never overtake you again.
Yeah, but it's usually what it does. It shifts your game very much to the like, you are always a pariah in the early game, and you will catch up in the late game, which affects the civilizations you can play with.
Yeah.
Like, competitively on higher difficulties, and it's really not a good design, because, like, civilization should be like more of a game of empire building and prioritizing, and like making like having a normal empire throughout the history, and not only like when you build all the buildings in medieval era, and you are kind of like have enough cities to get enough units to get something killed and like that. And your mod, like, rebalances this to be more natural, and it completely does not mean like the AIs will be easier. They will be not as ridiculous early game, but
Yeah.
you can still lose game, and I lose quite a lot of games on your difficulty mod.
Yeah.
Because of still need, like, to adjust, and generally your position in an early game can be very very tricky. Like, you can, like, trick yourself and thinking that you are going to, like, in this game you have, because it was my game, you make an analysis video of, like, Siam games. Yeah, it was about from, like, turn, I don't know, 60, 70, when I get my religion, I will build a strong science because of the lighthouses everywhere and so on. I was in the top position. And after that, it all fall apart completely. And
Right.
the AIs were, like, I was only designing where to put my new cities for them to be the best as they can get, and, like, making plans for a naval invasion of Arabia, because they would be vulnerable from my attacks to the sea, and I can take their capital. And after that, and by this time, there was not even that many Moroccan cities on my borders. There was no, like, Attila expansion from the west of my capital. I think they didn't have Surin and Sana. They got Omi, but, like, mostly they have a lot of cities on the Moroccan border, which are not even visible.
Right.
So they were not like, not even present with their military and their cities,
Yeah.
like near my borders. And I got really strong religion. I got really like strong position for myself, and and I got totally wrecked like 50 or 70 times later without even clear way. Like I had first religion, first enhance,
Right.
us 219 faith per turn, and I don't even get my own cities to keep my religion most of the time because the AIs are playing much better. They are in their like because usually they have main spike. It is, I think, true to both your mod and vanilla VP that they have a spike and a medieval renaissance,
Right.
and after that they fall off completely in a normal difficulty. But they usually don't fall off in your mod.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like honestly my whole like aim of it was to make it possible so that you could actually have a good start on deity, but also make it like essential that you have to still keep playing well, otherwise you're gonna get screwed.
But what I think the main selling point of your mod and like the main achievement of it is not like rebalancing the AIs, but rebalancing the feeling of the player that you can actually have an army, you can actually have good cities, you can actually get some wonders, like be the first to do something if you prioritize it, and
Right.
so on. So you are not playing as against whole world that has all of the bonuses, but you're actually having an empire and can be strong in some areas. And it doesn't mean that your game will go well. It does mean that you have a more natural feeling to all that is happening.
Yeah.
It's very good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah. So we were going to talk about progress in general because I think it's kind of hard to master the progress.
Yeah, definitely. I would still say it's like the weakest of the trees. Definitely the one I choose
Definitely,
least.
yeah.
So obviously, you got to do it very well if you want to win with it.
Yeah. So the one thing, like it, I think it plays much better in your mod than
Okay.
in a vanilla to get progress early. It
Right,
is really
because you
much
can
better
use the
than
science to actually get ahead for a bit and like.
and prioritize wonders and stuff that you want, stuff that you need, and so on. Especially if like the Siam is not benefiting from it very much. Well, it kind of is with theology, but the guys that have something scaling with era, or the guys that have like the main strength of them lies in late classical or early medieval eras, like Japan, which has one tech steel that have both or very uniques.
Right.
You can get very fast to it, and
Yeah.
for example, the Netherlands are really good with progress right now because they can double their gold, like nearly double their gold and cultural output just by rushing into medieval from all the
Yeah.
trades.
Yeah.
So progress plays much better on this version, but it still has some really tricky things, and it usually the main problem with progress, I think, is it does not scale. It does not create uh, as much synergies with the later trees.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So obviously you're not getting conquering bonus or great people bonus. You do get the great writers, but you were right in what you said to me the other day that it's a little bit overshadowed by Glory of God because you can just take that instead and get the writers that way.
Another thing is that writers works best with artistry, and even without artistry, they works best with high culture per turn because this is what their output is based on.
Right.
And progress gets a lot of culture through instant events abilities. So it's kind of, to be honest, it's kind of counterintuitive. These great writers to be bought in the progress.
Yeah, but writers still are so good that it's like maybe even the best bit about progress.
So they give you the main thing with the writers is I think they are not good in a early or mid game. The main strength comes in the ability to get the ideologies faster.
Yes,
you need them, I would say.
With a World's Fair.
Especially with the words, which I think is a bug and not a bug. It is a design that is so disastrous for the AI that only a human player can know this, which should be adjusted, in my opinion.
True.
Because it feels very gamey, to be honest.
Yeah, no, you're probably right with that actually. And it's pretty much every game I feel like that I do that. It's like, get to Industrial Era. When am I doing World's Fair? When am I doing all my great writers to get ahead?
Yeah, especially with the processes running.
Yeah.
And I think it should be tweaked to be more AI friendly and more about your wider culture output than in this currently. So it is not us cheating ability to the player, so to speak.
Yeah, probably. So do you want to talk about progress with coastal start progress or just progress in general?
So I have one thing to say about the coastal progress. But maybe we should start with more general things, because I don't know. What do you think about the progress? Maybe I will now let you to talk about this.
Yeah. So, like I said, it is the weakest tree. It's definitely the one I go for least. And pretty much the main reason I do pick it is with a coastal start. That is something I've done quite a few times. I'm not sure if I've done it.
Before I will forget, I will just I'll throw it up that I think that on your mod, progress became kind of delayed authority, in my opinion, which is, I'm not sure, the best spot for progress to be on, because you have so little ability to get synergies and to get a good play while staying peaceful and wide. That you will be better if you want to stay peaceful. It's just better to get tradition. And so how do you feel about that? Yeah,
I didn't actually hear what was the original.
Oh yeah, so my original point was progress feels like if you have a faction like Civ that is weaker in the early game, it's safer way to play delayed authority, I would say. So
delayed authority.
Yeah, it's kind of it gives you ability to get faster techs to at better cities to get into units you want and position you want. But
so you're saying you should go progress first into authority?
No, I don't mean you have to go authority second, but I mean progress works like delayed authority. So I mean you will usually be better if going to war, have like all the progress bonuses to get you into position to war over guys successfully.
Right.
So it's like it gives you. It looks like a more peaceful tree, but it
Okay.
plays a lot like very many of its bonuses are best utilized in a conquest, I think, manner. But it's like delayed. Like you don't have to get it straight away, like with authority, but you can like work your way up to like Renaissance or like medieval with better units, better
Right.
position, and better production. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously it's for a wide empire, and you're going to have the widest empire when you're conquering. So definitely, I sometimes go at second after authority, or yeah, I see what you mean, like get into a key tech with progress first. The big problem is just that you have less production in general for a lot of the early game, like until this 10% becomes relevant. But you still won't have these tribute bonuses. And if you do get attacked, it will be kind of annoying for you. Whereas if you're authority and you get attacked, you can be like, all right, fine, I'll get some culture and science anyway. So I would still say I would try not to pick it when you feel like you're going to have to be at war early on, because you don't get any defensive bonuses like you do from tradition, or production or unit bonuses from authority. So it's better the more isolated you are. Like if you can just get this and keep building buildings, then it's decent. And it has like the specific synergies that you talked about with going for, maybe a certain tech for your unique stuff, or like some different civs, I guess, are kind of towards progress, like when you have unique improvements and stuff. I think the only game I went progress was Morocco, so that I could get to the new eras quicker and get to Casbah's quicker as well. But I still think like the large proportion of the times that I get it is for C stuff, and like that's the only times where I've really felt like, yes, this is doing something. Like I'm actually like doing well in this game, like thanks to progress, like being strong and giving me all these bonuses that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah. So I just had a thought that maybe like switching between generals and riders, faith purchasing ability between the policies, like authority would get riders and progress would get generals, maybe kind of a fun way to stir the balance up, because like authority usually is lagging on culture, while progress is lagging in war compared to authority, and wants as much territory as possible. And like stacking generals when authority is possible through many different ways, and with progress not so much.
Yeah.
And authority has already like many combat bonuses, while progress doesn't. So
Yeah, true, but I guess that's not really why the great people are what they are, is it? It's supposed to be like whichever great person fits whatever the tree is already giving. So Statecraft gives
well,
Diplo stuff, so then you
sometimes
get a
I
great
guess.
diplomat.
I think many people would argue that progress and tradition, like writers for tradition and engineers for progress, would be much more fitting, I think.
True, that would
Thematic
be
way.
ridiculous though. Tradition would be
Yeah.
so much better than progress if you made that
Yes,
swap.
it would be completely like tradition, artistry, whatever, and then just make a cultural bonds with writers. It's just it's ridiculous. But yeah. So about the cost of start. So I had a few coastal games recently with progress,
Yep.
and I kind of discovered something I thought was not the case. So with coastal starts,
Yep.
usually the thing that people want to do, which I was like an adherent to also recently, was until recently, was get the left side of the progress tree first,
Right.
which makes a lot of sense on paper. It just feels good. Like you get the production bonus, you get the trade units bonus, you get like I mean not the trade units but work builds bonus.
Yep.
Because I think it isn't like here, but it is also applied because it's kind of a worker thing to the game.
You get work boats. I think you train them quicker as well. Yeah.
It's the same situation with industry. Like industry toolkit does not tell you with the entrepreneurship left policy that it also gives the jungle
Logging
things.
camps.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
logging camps also the bonus, but it does.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the progress is very straightforward. I think the main thinking would be like you would like to get expertise because of the culture.
Yep.
You would like to get production because the coastal starts are not so good early with production, and you are going to get a lot of uh, like also movement for civilian units is very useful when you settle a large area and so on. While usually you don't prioritize nor the text to reveal resources nor to like improve them with so liberty feels like wasted. Like you can see my start, and uh, I was obviously going for uh, fishing for like pottery fishing and
Yep.
then trapping tray sailing
Yep.
because it felt like a good empire to get warring later on and get the great lighthouse.
Yeah. So you
So
didn't even know about the horses until probably a bit later.
exactly. So I had only jungle with sugar, which
Yeah.
is trash anyway. So
True.
um, I only had coastal resources, so it made a lot of sense to go for this. Now, when you think about it for a minute, just looking at the text I would be getting if you go to the to here. So the expertise is giving 10 culture per building.
Okay.
So what buildings I can build? It is a monument, a shrine,
Yep.
granary, a market, and a lighthouse.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't build granaries because
Exactly.
you have
The
too much
coastal
food.
starts are very heavy on food. You don't have to build the granaries. Uh, Another thing, you don't have to build the markets. I have plus 28, plus 208 gold by now, but it was also very high early in the game
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the trade deals. You just sell all this coral, all the scraps, and get like plus 20 in your first turns just for connecting those resources.
And you
Plus
get
20
decent
gold per
gold
turn.
from sea stuff anyway.
Exactly.
It's like more
And the
than most
lighthouse
things.
will be even making this better. So you don't need that. I don't have I have 208 gold per turn. I don't have a market. I think in any of my cities right now. It's just a waste of production.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, and another thing is after getting a shrine, a monument, and I don't think I was also, even getting shrines in the start, and I would still be able to get religion first, and I did get religion first by a kind of large margin, I think,
Really.
60 something.
Yeah.
So it's really good. with that pantheon. You are not getting shrine, you are getting a monument, which is plus 10 culture. And to get into the third, I think, or fourth policy, you already need 300 culture.
Right.
So that is plus 10 per city. And you can get a lighthouse, which is very long to build. To be honest,
Yep.
it's kind of like 15 or 10 if you have good production. Otherwise than this, you are getting a settlers mostly in the capital. You are getting war boats and sometimes workers, which are not giving you any culture. So
Yeah.
at the first stages of your game, if you rush to expertise, like plus 10% production, it does nothing at this point.
Yep.
I don't think it would shave even one turn, maybe in some city, one turn.
You'll probably get +1 production in the capital and +0 elsewhere, most likely.
Exactly, yeah. And plus 10 culture from the monument and from lighthouse. Usually you build them longer than 10 turns, so because you are building them like the first and only, and maybe you are even not like only first to buildings because you have to also get workboats and so on,
Right.
from which you don't get this bonus. So you are getting plus 10 culture, which means less than 1 culture per turn.
Yeah.
Just this one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, and yeah, you also get a lot of settlers, and it's usually, I think, better to get units after that. You still don't have much tax, like you can get animal husbandry or mining, which, well, mining will give you a well, but that's only like 1 culture per turn at best. And animal husbandry will not give you anything again. Bronze working will not give you anything again. So, like, I mean, the buildings to build to get the culture bonuses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really getting a little pointless. Like this culture is really nothing. It's really like in this game. I went left progress first, and I think it was complete a mistake. And I would be much better with right side, because now if you look on the right side, so
Yeah.
you get this, which means a worker is a little useless with my capital.
Yep.
Uh,
It can
However,
be. Usually you have something to do with it though, like with one worker.
yeah, even not like first city, because I really didn't have anything to do with him in the first city. Like the
Yeah.
other cities have maybe like I don't know, anything. Just really anything
Really.
to get. Well, maybe not this particular cities, but like you can start. Yeah, to be honest, you can start getting like pastures or something, or even mines, because this start like cost of stuff is very good for the goody huts. For the, I don't remember, Ancient Ruins, yeah, Ancient Ruins.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Because you get
you are
fishing early, you get like all of the ones on the islands.
yeah, exactly. It is very powerful to progress, and I was getting a lot of ruins. Sometimes they are shit, like plus 15 culture, but
Yep.
honestly, the texts are very good. So you some most of the time reveal like some horses. You will reveal, and horses are, well, horses are fucking awesome, because it's not only +4 production to your city. It is also
That's 50 gold.
the yeah, I would think something like that, because like sometimes they even, like, Russia always buys, I don't know why, buys horses for like 18 per one horse,
Yeah.
starting in classical era. So yeah, but on the other hand, you are getting +3 gold per city, coupled with the goals from the trade routes, and coupled with the goals from the tiles that you are working, because of coastal they are gold heavy. You are getting a very, very efficient, and sometimes even with ruins can give you a lot of gold, very, very efficient production ability to your cities. You can prioritize anything you want.
I guess I'll just, so you get the +3 gold per turn in each city, and compared to the organization where you get +2 production, gold is seen as 2 gold equals 1 production, so it's only a little bit less than that.
Yeah, and to be honest, you are getting a lot of production from workboats, upgraded sea luxuries on your first. It is very not so much this production, because I think usual crabs are, I think, 3 or 4 production. No, it's actually 2. So I don't remember.
This
maybe
is without,
the
but you don't have God of the Sea here because it's flip neutral.
Oh yeah, so usually they are 3, and atolls have a lot of production, and you don't really need that production to get a monument and a lighthouse, to be honest, and a workboat. So as you can see, atolls and corals are +3 production, which is, I think, very alright. Your cities with a coastal start and God of the Sea will be the strongest in the very early game.
Yeah, definitely.
They're getting workboats. So the production is in fact less less elastic for you, because gold you can spend for production in any city, and production is only applied locally. Another thing is you will not getting a lot of culture from buildings, because it's usually time to get some units, coastal units, because what I also discovered is that it is especially the case with Carthage, but with any naval power in the early game, tributes, because how are the city-states located, are very good source of yields, far more than any of the policy as of now. Whether it's
that's true.
faith or culture, the heavy tributing, if you can even get 50% of the heavy tributes with 3 or 4 boats, it's very powerful. It can give you very fast religion. It can give you very fast culture, much faster than this +10 per building, and doesn't and no one gives a shit about it for some time.
To be honest, I've not done that before unless I was Carthage, but it does seem quite doable. If you have a lot of money, get lighthouses, and then you can buy boats, I think, once you have a lighthouse.
Exactly.
Maybe you don't even need a lighthouse. I'm not sure.
No, because the second thing is after this policy, you will get the fraternity, which is in fact much stronger on coastal starts than on land-based one, because you don't have to get workers and build roads. And this also, it means that you have +3 food in every city unconditionally. It is not from city connections, so you can grow to your best production tiles quickly, and you don't have to work food tiles, which is itself a very good thing, because you will have a good food from initial tiles, and then you can get to working a specialist very fast. And still work only production heavy tiles. This is one thing. The other thing is you will get a lighthouse, and you will get an instant +3 science, which is very, very good in an early game. And what it does, it gives you, if you add that up, on the third policy, you will get +45 culture every time you research a policy. And increasing with the more, with 4 policies, it will be 60 culture. And when you will get lighthouses in 5 or 4 areas, coastal cities, and you have this coral with my start, and you usually go writing with also have the bonus for the guys in the capital, which will be relevant because for the science, because you usually stay, your capital usually stay very low on population to get all the settlers out, and when it grows kind of significantly, so you're getting a lot of these bonuses, and you will usually go cancel an library after getting sailing. To work specialist, and what it does is because you prioritize like getting into the classical era with expensive techs, because like the getting sailing would feel very long, like 15 turns or whatever, or 18 even I think was on this game. All of this animal husbandry, mining, bronze working, construction, like those lower tier techs, you will be getting every 4 or 5 turns, which is when your culture really starts getting up, because you will hit like 45 culture or 60 culture or eventually 75 culture every 4 or 5 turns, which is much higher than whatever buildings that you are not even building get you. So in my opinion, I was getting a lot more science and a lot more culture from this, even if I took it as a fifth policy. And it was a mistake, like getting the fraternity first. Expertise does nothing for me at this point. It is less than 1 culture per turn, and it's just bad. And when you divide like 45 culture per tech researched by the number of turns that you need to get it, you will get like 6 or 7 culture per turn.
Okay. You're probably right, to be honest. Like the whole point of not going here is basically because fraternity is much better. Like with lighthouses, you would just instantly get the 3 science and everywhere.
With Carthage, it is like the best way to do.
And your point on the fact that you get more culture anyway for researching more texts. So it kind of, it's not like, I still feel like you will have slightly more culture if you go expertise, but it's probably a very small amount.
I think if we did like make a test yourself, you will see that it is really like expertise does really nothing. I think your 3rd policy already costs like 300, or your 4th policy needs like 450. And
well, but like the thing is, like you're already going to get the culture from technologies, from researching technologies anyway. It's just like you get them a bit quicker with fraternity than you would.
I think you will get them significantly quicker, because the thing is, the early progress, like science, is really, with every policy, is really low. It's like I think +9 at best, because you are with coastal starts, you don't even have councils if you rush the Great Lighthouse. We will, with authority or tradition, you will usually have councils, the bonus to councils with tradition, the bonus to herbalist. With authority, you will get the barracks very quickly, and and this one, the science and culture on Sedlina City. So and barracks are kind of good for science.
Yeah, it's another plus one.
Yeah, so the science would be really bad, and these lighthouses, before you will get to writing, and before even you would have population to actually work, the scientists, is instant, I think, crippling your science many times, or at least getting the 2.5 like modifier, multiplier.
I guess you have like 4 cities or something, +12 science.
+12 science is basically 2.5 of your basic science, which would be like 8 or 9 by this point, because you don't have cancers, you don't have nothing. So yeah, I think that, and another thing is you are delaying so much your fifth policy. Like it only works if you go for this science and this culture from getting techs early. This is when the techs are usually when this science is worth the most, and when these lighthouses are also worth the most, because you don't have any other buildings to build over the monuments. Even you don't have to get shrines, and you can build markets and granaries, which are garbage at this point in the game. So yeah, I think it's much better for the culture. It doesn't seem like it is. I know it doesn't seem like it is, but it doesn't give you any culture. But like in the policies, but through this faster teching, you are getting much more culture than for building a monument and a lighthouse that takes usually both together like 25 turns for only 20 science, for only 20 culture bonus.
I get you.
I would be amazed if it was. I think it will be like 30% more with fraternity, or even better than with expertise first, like for the culture.
I'm not sure, but you do get so much more science, and even if you went expertise first, you don't get enough culture to actually get you to your fifth policy. Like, exactly, you miss out on quite a lot of turns of this.
Of course, on coastal stats, you don't have much science to like research actual stuff to get useful buildings.
Yeah,
because it took so much for me, even with a choral start, to get to writing after getting sailing.
Yeah,
it was my only source of like science.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess, yeah, the only thing that's a bit annoying is that your science is kind of so good that, like, you need the culture to catch up so that you can build some wonders and stuff.
Yeah, I was caught, like, even with expertise first, I was caught with that with theology.
I guess technically you could, because I mean, when you're already at sailing, you could go for drama and poetry, and just get Writers Guild straight away because you'll have a lot of food. So you could definitely work some writer specialists early on.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, Writers Guild are quite expensive buildings, and you are not. If you will do that, like you go sailing, writing, and drama and poetry, you are not only completely vulnerable to anything, anyone, and everything on the map. You are also don't have barracks, or don't have arenas like forges, which are very good for coastal cities.
True.
Maybe even like, well, maybe you do get wells, but honestly, I think there are like 300 or 250 production for the Writers Guild. It would be just
200 there. I don't know if it's.
Oh well, maybe it's only 200, but it's kind of very much for the city that don't even have forge, arena, barracks. Only have like few tiles to work with good production, because all the others are either jungles or like coastal without any resources.
True. Yeah, you can buy obviously, yeah, you are very vulnerable if you do that. Like, but I feel like if you can do that, that probably is actually a good way to go, because you'll have your science basically sorted with fraternity and lighthouses. So if you can get your culture sorted as well, you're definitely gonna have a good game.
Yeah. So.
And it leads on to theology as well, which has a lot of good wonders, like Robida and Hagia Sophia are usually the best wonders to go for.
With Siam, it's what? Which is, to be honest, very good for science.
Yeah.
It's +6 science in a city. And theology is already a very good tech for like religious play and a cultural play, because it gets you plus, I think, 2 faith and culture on your temples.
Yeah, yeah.
So
very
yeah,
good
for
point.
Siam it is great, and for most of the coastal states it is really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is, you are really like, the point of progress is getting good cities, and if you are doing that, you are not getting a good cities. You are getting like you are recreating tradition play with all the like synergy stuff that you will get writers, that you will get culture, that you will get science, but you will get no productions, no good tiles, no good buildings,
Yeah.
and like you will not have to like even go temples or anything, because you would still need like barracks, arenas, and all the stuff that
Well,
was before.
perfect. You'll get to your 5th policy, and then you can come back and build them all. Get the
Yeah, no,
bonus
yeah.
culture.
So it's like a power play progress, but I think it would be really horrible to play with such low production cities in a early game.
Yeah, in this start as well. Like, it is actually possible on my map, I know, to get like starts where you're on your own continent, or at least it's like very limited land bridge to the next continent, and then you might be able to do something like that. But usually not.
But if you are on your own continent without much of trade partners, it hurts as fuck for progress, because you don't can't and like it is really disastrous for many of for every policy, because you can't sell your luxuries and your strategics for for 100 gold per turn 50. So it's
Yeah, true. You can meet people though. Like, I don't think it's pretty
they
unlikely
will be like
you
a
ever end
passage.
up. Yeah. I don't think there's many like ocean isolated starts, and you'll get fishing early, so you can generally go and find people.
But yeah, starting in medieval, like the expertise is getting better, because it usually does something to your production, like saving of 1 turn, and it's already
True.
20 culture, which is still very low. But by the time you have good cities who can build units below 10 turns, build buildings below 10 turns, and you have a lot of the cities, then it becomes like your second reliable source of culture. But I think in the very early game, is the better way is just to focus on science and get the culture from researching texts.
Do you know? I think I'm pretty sure some people will also go fraternity first, even if they don't have coastal stuff. Like, even if you can't get the city connections with the lighthouse, they'll just try and build roads as quickly as possible, and obviously then the work will be more useful. Like,
Yeah, and
some
I
people
think
definitely
it will
argue
still
it's
be
always
better.
better. Really?
Yeah, I think, especially like because the thing is, with coastal starts, it is fraternity, that is fraternity plus this gold from the previous policy, but this gold is like added. It's secondary to the fraternity. Like, you have only one policy, but it's strong enough to like negate or be better than 2 policies, the expertise and the production one. And on the land thing, yes, you can you like you have to build workers, but you now have like 2 policies that are good: 3
Yeah.
worker, tile improvement, gold, and then the science and the culture from science and the food and so on. And the food is also helpful, like I said, with getting another science through getting you to library specialist faster to scientist. So
Yeah,
I think it's still the better way to play on a landlocked.
Yeah, maybe. I need to play more of it really. Like I said, it's definitely the one I choose least, and it is just I always just feel like I just need to go authority just in case, and like to help get
Yeah,
the next city out quicker as well. Like Imperium, like even in coastal starts, authority still is nice because you get a lot of production to build all the stuff you need, and you get an extra city from this. So it's not even like even in progress's best thing, it's still like authority is still not crazy far behind. I feel
yeah.
like.
And just generally, authority is the best to pick whatever you are like planning to do apart from completely peaceful traditional game.
True.
Because
What?
even with progress, you will have to, I guess, when the AIs will get competitive, you will have to war, and the best course of action, like the best play in this position, in many of the positions that the players will face, will be just to vassalize someone
Yeah.
or to conquer some cities. Yeah,
Yeah, vassals are crazy. I mean, I'm hoping, or I was hoping that my mod made it slightly like tilted the balance a bit so that authority isn't quite as good because you can't just smash down your nearest ally, and you will fall behind on science and stuff if you go authority. But it probably still is the safest.
it's still the safest, but I think it's even like it's. It's safest due to so many mechanics that are not even related to your mods in the Vox Populi that it will always probably be the safest
Yeah,
until some major rebalance will come, which I don't think have any support in community, and it would be just very tedious to do anyway.
yeah,
So boosting overplaces is much easier way to deal with authority OPness, and yeah, I think I think it's yeah, the progress is better on your mod because the early game is kinda easier on your mod. But like I said, this easiness is tricky and it can bite you very hard. Because like I in this game I overextended to really
yeah.
like enormous levels, and I was still planning more cities, of course,
Really?
by this time. Yeah, and I wanted to also conquer some of the city states because they had like, you know, two crabs, five atolls, two fish, something like that. I think there is a city like it is Manila or.
Manila's got quite a few, yeah.
Uh, but I think this one is very nice. Byblos. It would have like three fish, five atolls or six atolls in total, and Kiev. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's just too, it's just too good to not take it. And yeah, another thing is I played without my unique ability basically, um, which is kind of sad about Siam.
yeah,
It's still not the worst faction because the VATs are really strong, especially for progress. But like I didn't get shit from this early bonus
yeah,
because many city states I met were cultural, which give you like +1 culture, I think.
yeah,
And the thing is, which is nice, but well, if you have this as a whole UA to your whole like game, it's just not enough. And
yeah. You don't get extra
another,
from the 75% because it's
yeah,
one.
yeah, it's rounding down. So I also had a lot of the good ones, which when I was building the settlers in my capital did nothing because I already had so much food. It was not like convertible to production anymore.
Yeah,
And I didn't get any units out of military city state because sometimes you can get a pathfinder for free, which would be very good on the coastal style when I have fishing first to get the ruins, but it didn't happen here.
This plus 10 experience is so irrelevant, man.
Yeah.
So rare to ever get that, and plus 10 experience. It's just nothing.
Yeah, I think this is one of the abilities that were not touched from the vanilla times. That's why it's
really?
so. Yeah, I think it's mainly the same or 100% the same from vanilla game. So that's why it's really not balanced around. Well, we had a time when Siam was traditional snowballer, like very very powerful AI.
Yeah, when the city states gave more early yields, so that this was actually really good.
They got like first religion, first wonders, and the bonuses from getting wonders. Like in your mod, it would not be the case anyway, because they are not getting anything for getting a lot of wonders,
right?
Apart from so it is really like completely rebalanced. So Siam is really not good one. You have seen it also in your game, Arabia one, I think.
Oh
when
yeah,
Siam got totally wrecked. Yeah.
I mean, ever since that city-state change, to be honest, whenever you have Siam next to you, it's like you can just bully the crap out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, even the AIs bully them, which doesn't usually happen.
Yeah, like you can get the city-states bonuses, which effectively like doubles yields from city-states. But I think even if the Siam is the best, like apart from Austria and Germany, it's the best for statecraft play. I think the city-states bonuses, especially if you roll like bad city-states, like not military and cultural ones, but like food and mercantile ones, it is just so much better to bully the mercantile ones to get the bonuses to wonders, and just statecraft is really in your mod especially. I think it's really the weakest of possible. Yeah, I think the weakest of all the trees.
Really?
Even for Siam, I was going for filthy completely. Like statecraft would be, especially with this Morocco, which every 10 turns was declaring on me. So all the bonuses I invested in city state would be lost because of the war.
Yeah.
It wasn't so good.
Depends on the missions and stuff. You gotta depends how many allies you have once you get to that point. Because if you have a couple, it can start it like. Yeah, you can end up getting more, but if you don't get any, it's quite sad.
Yeah, so and usually it just don't give you anything like hard yields. So that's why it's also very very bad. I mean the statecraft, policy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that's probably the one I picked least as well. Statecraft, I would say.
Yeah, you would need a very like specific synergy.
Well, I think Austria, to be honest, is the best because I've played
Austria because
with them, and seeing the AI play with them as well, just it was really annoying.
Yeah, so it's like a disparity between civs that have more of a bonuses to something, or like civs that have bonuses to doing something, like help to doing something. So Germany versus Austria is one of the best examples. Like Austria can completely eat up Germany, even if the Germany would be have a potential to be much stronger. It just doesn't happen because the early game is so much worse.
Yeah, with Austria, you get the bonus to missions as well, don't you? That's
50%.
Allies. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Then the influence stops decreasing, so you can like amass a very very large pool of city-states allies very quickly.
Yeah, that's once you have the allies though, but like you do need the
allies
marriage.
First. Yeah.
but this helps you get it. The fact that you get
Yeah.
the extra rewards from quests. Extra delegate, so good, man.
For authority, like statecraft and diplomatic, it's probably one of the best civs.
Yeah. Or tradition as well. Anyways, I should probably stop, to be honest.
Right.
Was that all the stuff you wanted to talk about on progress?
Yeah. I also had like the screenshots I sent to you for like the comparison on the same turn between our 3 games. Like, but I don't think we have time for this right now, so we can do it some other time.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I can't get them on the screen right now. I could.
Yeah, because I was interested like in how our games would play, because they were all with similar policies or similar starts. You want to do this quickly?
Well, we'll just look at it quickly.
Right. So the thing is, I had like, I think the only my advantage was like gold, really. This one, and maybe science, but science is from Watts, not from my good play.
Faith, I guess, as well.
Yeah, faith, but it's not really that much faith. I was quite amazed because, but it was because some of my cities were without majority religion by that point. They were having like my mendicancy and God of the Sea would be much better. But it was not so disparate. I think the gold was the main issue. Like,
yeah, that to be honest, I don't understand that beyond like, I guess as authority you do have quite a lot more production, so you probably have more buildings built in each city.
I think the thing, like, you had 6 cities, I had 11. I think at some point, when I was settling the cities, they slowed me down too much on science and culture. Because even if we had like the same science, I think on the stores, I had theoretically much, maybe not much because you also had kills, but like more culture because of the instant bonuses for researching technology, for my religion, and for building buildings. So it would be somewhat, I think, higher.
Yeah, you might be ahead of me by 1 policy actually at this point. I would have thought I may well be.
It would be less than 1 policy.
Yeah, I guess,
But to be honest, even if you had much lower science, you were ahead of me on the tech tree, I think. Or maybe not like ahead of me because you may just prioritize machinery and I was getting theology and education and so on. But I think you would have a very similar number, maybe 1 less, 1 more on tech tree, which is directly the consequence of my expansion. Slowed the text down.
Fair enough.
And this is progress game without coastal start, but with Morocco, which of course is one of the best factions in the game, I would say.
Oh, wow, my yields aren't even that high. I mean, there's Casbahs everywhere, but it's not even.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked by this one, to be honest.
Weird.
You seem to be like, your yields, I think, in many ways are less than mine, but you seem to be so much ahead on buildings that you build and on techs that you have. You have civil service, you have economics.
True. This might have been before the tech cost increase.
Yeah, and it was not on your mod also, I think.
True.
So it's still just, it's a striking difference.
I had Angkor Wat in this one as well, so I had the really good authority start. I think I had terracotta as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot that your gold might not be like this low as it's not the gold per turn is your main source at this point. You also get a lot of instails as authority. Yeah, but
Like-
kind of. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, when I looked at your save, I thought like this seemed like pretty good. Like particularly the science, I was like, that's very good at this point. Like the only thing really would be Borobudur. Like obviously, instead of
Yeah.
settling more cities, if just 100% priority on Borobudur, and then with the Way of the Pilgrim, I think like that would have been a very, very winnable game.
Yeah, you were correct. Like the Mystics were like even like with the Mystics, the position was pretty strong, and it was also like this time is exactly my time of like my main spike with the Watts that gives so much science.
Right.
Because it's +6 science in every city, and I think in most cities it was also like +4 or +3 faith and culture. But the thing that I like not only I just overextended because like you see I have roughly the similar number of units as you're in both Morocco and Assyria games on the same turn, but much larger area to cover.
Yeah.
Like right now, at this moment, I was going to kill one of the city states just because I couldn't like handle the two fronts war with Morocco, because of he would attack me from one side and his city state allies from the other side, and my cities were so vulnerable to any assault. Like I think by this point, I redeployed my navy to Morocco, and I lost one of my cities to a city state actually.
Really?
But
Yeah.
so it's just like a psychological study of how greed affects rational decision making. Because I was so fucking. I was literally. I was planning. I think at least 3 or at least 2 more cities with pioneers on this.
Jesus.
So,
Yeah, I don't think there's any rush to get them out because you still get the bonuses for building the buildings from the culture. Like the later you leave it, the more you
Yeah.
get. So
yeah, and the more industry policies I would get before settling them would be also very nice.
yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Yeah, let's end it there. That was pretty good. We got through some stuff about the forum and then the discussion on progress. I'm sure there's a lot more we can talk about next time.
Yeah, so next time it will be like, I think we spend more time analyzing what's on the forum.
Yeah, the stuff about gold trading, that seems like a pretty big thing.
Yeah, and maybe there will be some games interesting to showcase. Maybe you guys will send us something to analyze or to like look into. You have some like propositions what to talk about next time.
Yeah, man. I mean, a lot of people seem to like the Siam video, but nobody's sending me their games, man.
So I don't think it was like the best of my plays. It's good that we get some like little audience to speak to. Like we are not the two lunatics like DET tried hards on that are modding the game to be even more hard.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool, man.
Right.
Final stuff from me. I did release the next version of the difficulty mod, which is basically just the April 14th patch with the difficulty changes. I mean, like we said, some of the changes in the patch are kind of questionable, but if you want to play it, it's there. And I will be streaming tomorrow evening, probably 7 or 8, or it might be today, if that's when this video comes out. Tuesday evening. So if you want to see that, then I will see you there. Yeah, cheers, man.
Oh, have a nice evening, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, cheers for joining me, man. See you next time.
See ya.